Welcome everyone, it's Taryn, the influencer manager at Illuvium, and today we're going to be having a community sub-council discussion with all of the candidates. So let's not waste any time and let me bring them all up here. These are our beautiful candidates. And guys, let's jump straight into it. The first thing that we want to get into is a bit of a quick introduction and just you sharing something that you believe makes you unique and sets you apart from the other candidates. So Llama, I'm going to bring you up first. Go for it, my friend.
All right, how's it going, everyone? Name's Modern Llama, and I'm have been a pretty consistent Illuvium content here and been around for a while. Something that I find that I believe is unique that I bring to the table is a strong sense of empathy and an ability to see different perspectives and see multiple sides to an argument, and also to keep a calm and level head. Something that I have developed over time that I feel have a very, very strong skill set in that.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate the short and sharp answer. Garth?
Hi, guys. I'm Garth. I've been in the project for about 20 months now. I spend most of my time just soaking up information. I co-founded Illuvial, where I work together with a bunch of very talented team members. To me, Illuvium is just a hobby that I spend just getting information on and sharing that as much as I can with everyone, whether that's in Discord helping people or just helping them get into crypto and Web3. I think that's basically it.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Ricky?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ricky Tan. I go by Ricky Tan, either one. I'm pretty passionate about Illuvium. I've been here for a bit over a year now. What unique aspect I bring? I mean, I work in customer service and sales. I've done it for about 10 years now. My focus really is kind of customer centric. So really being there, knowing how to help the customers. In this case, it's the community. So if anything ever comes up, I'm always there to be there to help and provide any guidance I can. Usually, I do believe I have a creative mind, bringing different views to the table, which is always handy. I have that artistic background, so love that side. Honestly, just looking forward for us to all stay connected and pretty much wanting us all to be community strong, and whoever gets elected, I know we're going to kill it. So
awesome. All right. Tallulah. Nice background, by the way. You are muted.
Okay, thank you, Taryn. Hi, everyone. So, hi, my name's Tallulah. I guess what sets me or makes me a little bit unique in this area is I have my in real life work experiences with early childhood and community services. It's a lot of front face communication, a lot of dealing with vulnerable people in really sometimes high emotive areas. I have within that skill I've developed, within that work I've developed the skills to be able to connect, and that would be probably my unique skill is I have a really strong ability to establish connections with people from varying diverse backgrounds.
Awesome. All right. Butch, go for it, my man.
Hi guys, my name is Justin. You may know me as Botch if you know at all. I've been in the community for about a year. I've been really active in governance since I've joined. The community has really impressed me from like the very start, and I love to be able to help get its great ideas implemented into like what I think is our organization, the DAO. What really sets me apart, I think, from the others is maybe my day job as a UX consultant is very relevant to the community sub council position. I deal with idea pitches and feature pitches every day for the apps that I consult on, and I have to dig deep into what the root problem is for those ideas and try to find the best solution for the problem. It's allowed me to practice empathy, and business I consult or refine and I iterate and launch great ideas. And I just want to thank Taryn for hosting this today.
Oh, thank you, man. Usually thanks are at the end, but I appreciate you. Scoot, thoughts here, man.
Hey guys, Scott, if that wasn't already self-evident. I've been a member of the Illuvium community since September 2021, so a little bit over a year and a half. was looking back, I think Blichter's the only other nominee for the council or the community council role that has more time in the community than I. And Garf and I are actually tied. We had the same join date, I noticed when I was looking back. But I think something unique that I bring to the table is that I've been probably, out of everyone here, one of the most outspoken critics of some of the things that have been going on within the community and the team, and just the way that Illuvium's been handling business recently. I've been called a keyboard warrior, and I'm here to back that up in person. I'm here to stand up and throw what I have learned through my expertise in both my time here in Illuvium and my several years in experience in the crypto space. And I want to bring my knowledge to the table and try to help Illuvium be the best that it can be.
Cool. All right, awesome. This is going to be a fun discussion. I have a strong feeling about this. Artemis, go for it.
Hey everyone, I am Artemis. I run a YouTube channel, Artemis Illuvium and Crypto. I am also one of the co-founders and a team member at alluvialmaster.com. I've been in the community about a year and a half. One of the things I think I bring is, as a YouTuber, it's usually my job to take a lot of information and make it concise and easy to digest. Not only do I practice at that, but I'm one of the only content creators who's been doing governance contents over the last 6 months.
All right, awesome. Yo, I was super short and sharp. I appreciate that. All right, Jimbo, what makes you unique?
Oh gosh, don't get me started. But if I'm being completely serious, and I want to be, because I genuinely have like a deep passion and love for this community. I think what sets me apart is I do have extensive experience with people who are either on the autism spectrum or just neurodivergent people in general. So what this allows me to do is I can bring people into the conversation who sometimes don't feel as comfortable as they could. And a lot of the times those are the people who who genuinely have really good opinions and can think outside of the box. So that, I would say, that's one of my biggest strengths, is bringing in people who aren't as confident to speak and adding them into the conversation.
Awesome. All right, appreciate you. And Risk Death, what about you, man? A bit of an introduction and a unique proposition.
Hello everyone, I'm with Dex, or Jason in real life. Sorry for my pronunciation. I'm French, I don't speak English. I'm here to share my vision and help make Illuvium a titan in the future. Unlike some of my competitors, I bring the diversity that the council is looking for. Indeed, a white an on-site perspective and not being bilingual. I'm aware of the challenges that could hinder the project's success.
All right, awesome. All right, I appreciate you, man. And yeah, you're doing great, man. You're doing great. All right, guys, let's move into the fun stuff. The topics where I think we are going to see a little bit of a disagreement. And like I said, prior to us recording, feel free to make that known if needed. So let's get into it. The question that I want to ask you guys, and I think it's going to be super important for an engaging community in general, but how do you increase the engagement in the community, whether that's through governance, general feedback, contests, meme content in general? Just what ideas do you have, or what do you think how do you think we're going to achieve more engagement? Jimbo, I'm going to bring you up, and then we're going to go back around the other way.
Ooh, dang. I got the spicy take for this one as well. So on one hand, as I said previously, I feel like I have a good sense for bringing people into the conversation when they want to say something, making them feel more confident, maybe even saying it for them. Sometimes I have to do, but I think I've heard people answer this specific question a lot recently. And don't crucify me for it, but honestly, most people in the community don't care about governance. So it's really finding the people, like nailing down the people that you know are, and then trying to find those people that actually do want to enter into the conversation as well, bringing them in and helping them refine their points, and just bringing it up to the council and seeing how we go from there.
Okay, awesome. All right, Butch, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on how we can increase community engagement in all aspects?
I think really what we need to do is make the process be very clear. I think that is something that needs to happen. I think what Jimbo is saying is true, that most people don't care about governance until it really hits them and something that they care about. So they're not paying attention until the IIP is up, already voted on, or is getting voted on, and it looks like it's going to hurt their wallet or something. So I think there does need to be more outreach to get the ideas out in front of people, more the people that say they're not into governance. And I think we could do that with a lot of different campaigns. I think there's more questions on the line that I can kind of go into details, some things I can think of, but I think it is very important and something that we need to think through. But I think also what Jim, I kind of agree with is that we can't force the people to get involved if they're not going to be involved, and to really, I think both sides of that works.
Yeah, of course. Artemis, what are your thoughts here? And again, I just want to reiterate that we're talking about engagement as a whole. If you want to specify governance, that's absolutely fine, but as a whole as well.
I'll just touch on governance real fast, and then I'll go to that on whole. In governance, and specifically, it needs to get outside the Discord. We need to talk about it in more than just the channels. It needs to be Twitter. It needs to be YouTube. It needs to be across all socials. If you're only talking about it in the Discord, you're not reaching the entire community. Now, in terms of increased engagement in all aspects of Illuvium, valuable content, activities, responsiveness to questions, community-generated content, having contests like memes, or, in Wildfire, they did, hey, here's a video for Illuvium, put your best song to it. Great idea. It got a lot of responses. We're kind of good at this, but we're not consistent in Illuvium. There's lulls. If you can be proactive and set up an engagement calendar, so to say, to where there's something consistently happening, you give people a reason to come back and be engaged.
Yeah, solid. Scoot, your thoughts here, man? Increasing engagement.
So from my perspective, honestly, I think that the community engagement from the Illuvium community has been absolutely over the top compared to any other Web3 community that I've been involved in. I think where the engagement aspect has been lacking has actually been from communication from the team side, and hopefully that can be improved through the council. I think a best example of that is probably with the Forge app, which was a little while ago. I don't know if everyone was here for that, but essentially the team brought forward a proposal that was, in almost all senses phenomenal, but it had a couple glaring flaws in it. And unfortunately, what happened was that it was brought forward so late that the community did not have the chance to give input in the development process. So we were forced to just kind of shoot down the proposal on a one kind of issue basis. So something that I think would be the most important improvement in communication would be to start the communication process around Illuvium products earlier rather than later, so that the community has the opportunity to be a part of the iterative process rather than just saying yes or no to a final proposal. And I think that's something you're going to hear from me on a few notes, is that, the community being a part of the process in the long term rather than just at a singular yes or no towards the end is going to be a very important improvement in our governance process.
All right, cool. Llama, what are your thoughts here, man, about getting more engagement out of the community? What are the ideas that you have there?
So to kind of also just briefly echo what Jimbo said, or Jimborito, sorry. But overall, I think that there's going to be a vast majority of people that really aren't going to have a whole lot of interest in the actual governance itself and everything. I think that things that Artemis is doing it as far as content goes and whatnot, as far as getting it out there and getting the information out there is fantastic, is great. But I think just inherently there's going to be people that aren't that interested in it. As far as overall engagement though, I think that is going to just come with time. That's going to come with time as we get more gameplay released and everything, because there's going to be continuous lulls in engagement, in my opinion, just purely because we don't have the entire game out. We don't have all the game loops. We don't have people. It's still a private beta, so not everyone even has access to it yet. what's going to drive consistent engagement, it's going to have an actual game released, an actual, public and open beta for people to play in. And in my opinion, that's when you're going to have actual more consistency. You may even have like a spike at the very beginning if it, and then like consistent engagement after that is going to be determined on whether or not people actually like the game and want to play the game. So.
Yep. Awesome. I appreciate that. Goff, what are your thoughts here about increasing engagement from the community overall, man?
I think that the engagement has been pretty strong with a number of people in the community. We have, I think, about 5,000 people that have actually spoken in the Discord. We have a number of people in the Twitter following and reacting and always being active. So I think that the community engagement has been quite strong, as Scoot already said. I personally write articles. I send a daily message in the Illuvial Discord to keep people engaged. And I think that staying active is all that it takes to keep other members engaged as well. They will come with ideas, and when they have the idea, they expect people to be present and to give an ear to what they thought up. If you don't do that, then they will just drop off again. And I think that keeping the community engaged, whether that is with governance or with the game itself, is all about just giving an ear to people. And like Modern Llama already said, it will take a game to actually get people to be super active again, or like more of the loop to be shared. But until that time, you just have to engage, show that you care, and be there.
All right, awesome. Appreciate that. Ricky, what are your thoughts here, man, about community engagement? How do we increase that?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, Jimbo kind of called it. Governance can be a little bit boring. However, if we were to kind of find a new way to make it more engaging, enjoyable, fun, short, concise content, Artemis does great stuff. Really shout out there. I mean, people may know, but contests and giveaways are always fun. I kind of enjoy those. So honestly, the only downside to those, just to really point it out, is that the new members that come in, the retention on them might not be there. TSG, feel free to jot it down, but some quick ideas: design your own Illuvitar accessory contest, gets voted by community. That engagement, that sharing would be great. Design limited edition merch. If yours get chosen, it goes out on the store for limited time, kind of as a drop. I mean, honestly, just being active and present on every platform is really a good way to engage. We're very core in the Discord, Twitter as well, maybe finding other platforms as well, but that might be something we can do. And I also put maybe think tanks and brainstorming sessions, just essentially if we were to have discussions, chats more consistently, set a schedule, kind of like Rich does in the Discord for his events, that would be pretty good.
All right. Awesome. I definitely send me those ideas in DMs, Ricky. I'll pass that on for sure. Tallulah, what are your thoughts about this and increasing engagement in the community? You are once again muted, Tallulah.
I'm so used to not doing that. Okay. First I'll talk about governance, and within that, I agree with everyone here that a lot of people in governance, they don't have the interest. Personally, I would like to see why that is before we start deciding how we're going to approach it. How we do that, I feel all the sub councils have probably, and people within Illuvium have enough connections to people who aren't, who are possibly whales or high investors who are not participating in governance, and perhaps then it's up to us to discover why that is and then approach it from that angle. Within the community, I feel again, for me, Illuvium is definitely the highest contributing community members in gaming I've seen. With other games, they're just like we don't have as much input. There's already been a lot of contests regarding Illuvitars and Illuvials, and I think they continue. I love what Artemis is doing. I think that's brilliant. But again, if people aren't interested, they're not going to read that email. They're not going to go to that Twitter space. So discovering what that is could help us then navigate how we're going to approach that, whether yeah, sorry, I know I'm going over time.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that's not an issue at all. Risk Death, what are your thoughts here, man, about increasing community engagement?
To sustain our community, I want to consolidate the existing core group and set community goal for teamwork. I plan to target the most active communities, bringing them together at one event, an objective to make them feel useful and engaged. They will breathe new life and invigorate our community Discord.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, awesome, man. That was short and sharp. I appreciate that. Fair. All right, guys. Man, I was surprised that there was no disagreements or anything there. I really thought there was going to be. But let's move on to the next one, which again kind of was brought up already. But what would you guys do to change what we are currently doing to reach out and make sure that we get in touch with those that aren't primarily on Twitter and Discord, because that is a thing that we have seen. What kind of solutions or ideas do you have regarding that? I'm going to start with Scoot. What are your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, so currently we have the council notes that come out every 2 weeks, I think, when the council meetings happen, and those are awesome to give kind of a background on what the council is doing. I think one way we could really improve the communication from the governance standpoint is actually to kind of go the extra mile and maybe write maybe a monthly newsletter that could be sent out to the email list, because there are a lot of people that don't follow the Discord necessarily that may want to be involved and kind of follow what's going on with governance. So I think if we could create some content, some simple written kind of blog to say what's going on, and keep everybody just informed, and maybe help draw some more people in that aren't active on Discord by engaging them through the email first, and then hopefully they'll kind of join us in the Discord to participate in the discussion, rather than being more of the passive bystanders that a lot of our token holders are right now.
Awesome. Ricky, what are your thoughts here, man? How do we reach those that aren't actively on Twitter or Discord?
Yeah, Scoot, I agree with you on most parts there. The one thing I disagree with slightly, it's the email campaign, because we actually get an email from it. It says Illuvium DAO. However, there's not much governance that's shared there. There's not much DAO governance updates. So definitely maybe having a more specific recipient list where they could sign up on the website, specific, like register your emails to keep up to date on DAO activities, or maybe sending it out to everyone, but making sure that we're included in some of the other updates. I noticed on the website that there's even tags and sections kind of in the news section. It'd be great to see a DAO governance update section there as well, so that people can easily access it and find it. Shout out for IlluvaHub. Got to give you this, man. That website, the way that you have the flow for all the nominations, fantastic work. I think you should jump next. But essentially having that on the Illuvium website, or making it more user-friendly for us for the future nomination, might be something really to consider.
All right, and what I will do is, I wasn't going to do this, but yeah, Garth, you're in.
I kind of feel that, yeah, we as IlluvaHub have been doing this quite actively indeed, just sharing that information with the community outside of the Discord and Twitter. But this question, and somewhat also the last, I feel somewhat that they should be addressed towards the Marketing Council as well, because they should use their knowledge and their connections to share that information with a broader base. I don't think that we as a community council will start going to Instagram and TikTok and other platforms to share information. I mean, that is the thing that I think that the Marketing Council should be stimulating. But yeah, I agree with sharing the information in an email with the email list. And we are from IlluvaHub doing everything we can to share information as well around governance. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Awesome. Appreciate you. Artemis, what are your thoughts on this? How do we reach out to those that aren't on those primary platforms?
So glad you You picked me next. Thank you. First off, huge shout out again to Illuvial. They reached out to me because recently I do a governance newsletter once a month. I've been doing it for about the last 6 months. I was on ramfire.io, but they're moving on. So going forward, whether I'm elected or not, going to continue it. You can find it on Illuvial now, or you can find it on Illuvial Master's Medium account. Would love to see more help with this. Like, yeah, newsletters being on affiliate websites, like not cutting it down to saying, oh, it's only one place. The more places we can get governance, the more accessible you can make the information, the better. People have mentioned that, there's not interest in governance. When I started doing governance content, TSG, you told me, hey, you're going to do this, but don't expect a lot of views. I've seen an increase in views on my governance videos. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do it and make it available. So I don't think we can rely on our assumption that people just aren't interested as a whole. We're generalizing that. And just because some people aren't interested in governance doesn't mean we shouldn't be finding new ways to make it easily accessible. Blichter made a really great video on, hey, this is how you do a proposal, and he wrote up a document on it. It is not particularly easy to find that document, and that video has since become private, so you can't access it. Accessibility, to me, is the name of the game.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that answer. Butch, what are your thoughts here, man? How do we reach those and engage those outside of those primary platforms?
I think like what the other nominees were talking about, the email was a good idea. I think we could also have little in like a maybe overall email list that we're sending to just to like, I think one of the other ways that we could have that work is if we have IIPs and ICCPs maybe delayed and all voted on as a group. That way that it would give people more time that aren't actively involved to see them and then make their voices heard.
Awesome. Yo, Butch pulling through with the short and sharp answers. I appreciate that. All right, Jimbo, thoughts here, man. How do we reach those that aren't on those primary platforms?
Okay, so hear me out on this one. I think a really cool idea is making, so I know we're not going to get all of the information in this, but making really short, like 1 to 2 minute long videos, because, and we can post those on YouTube. Yeah, I know YouTube, but we can also, with it being that short, you can also post that on many different platforms, Twitter, Discord, Reddit. There's so many different ways you can get that information. And again, as I said, you're not going to get all of the information in there, but it will at least give people some information to go off of that can just be in their face immediately. And then if they want to dig deeper, we can give them links to that. And to piggyback off of what Ricky said real quick, I actually love the idea of having that on the website, and also putting those videos up on there with each different proposal. Just like a 30-second video to a minute-long video would also, I feel like, really help the short attention span of the normal internet user. Yeah. Respectfully, I have a short attention span too.
All right, awesome. Appreciate that. Tallulah, your thoughts on this? How do we reach those that aren't on those primary platforms? Tallulah.
I even had my mouse over at that time. Again, for me, it's similar to the last question. What's their carrot? What's going to bring them in? Why aren't they participating? Really, it's a really important question. I believe that the accessibility, 100% important for when people do come in. Yet we're really talking about investors here, aren't we? Not really necessarily the game players. I think that's what we're talking about in general. So maybe they're invested in lots of different things. Maybe they've come in and spoken, not being heard, and decided, well, that's enough. I'm not going to bother. Maybe it's investors that don't have a lot, so they think their vote doesn't matter, so they're not going to worry about it. Maybe they're sitting. Maybe they talk to somebody already. Maybe they have a person in the Illuvium that they connect to, and they catch up on all the advice. So knowing these things will help you target. And I think then having all the features everybody mentioned is brilliant, because you need to have something to show people, and maybe even in the email, connect it. Put that video you're talking about, short little bite videos to explaining what they mean. Great. Yeah, what a great idea. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Lama, what are your thoughts here, man? In general, investors, gamers, community members as a whole, how do we reach those outside of the main platforms?
Outside of the main platforms, I think. So I was thinking about this question, and top of my head, one of the best ways that that I do kind of want to echo that's been said a few times is also like through the main Illuvium website. I think that that there's not enough on there that could be on there in terms of like accessibility, in terms of information. At least last I checked. I think increasing that would could also potentially reach a broader audience as well, because chances are if people aren't on Twitter, if people aren't on Discord, if they're not on other socials or on other community made websites or on YouTube, etc., kind of thing, like one of the main sources of information that people are going to find, like even if you're like an investor or a gamer looking up the actual game itself and the website and everything, that chances are you're going to wind up at the website. So if there's a way to increase information and accessibility through the official main website, or like doing like a newsletter or something like that, I think that those are like good options. And then to increase engagement, I mean, I think ultimately it's just going to come down to accessibility, just overall, the accessibility of that information, and I think there's just a lack of that right now.
Awesome. All right, Risk Death, what about you, man? What are your ideas on how we should reach others outside of those primary platforms?
To address the session difficulties hosting the community, I would suggest working on project summary with all relevant information and as much detail as possible in different language. This summary will make it easier for non-English speaker to access information and help retain new member who wish to join the project and invest in
Yeah, I understand. Accessibility is the main thing there. Understood. All right. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next question. And again, this is going to be primarily what I think is going to be part of the role. And I want to ask you guys, what is your approach in gathering and distilling feedback from the community to inform council decisions? Can you guys share an example of a time where you guys have successfully incorporated community feedback into your decision making? And I'm going to start with Llama, and then we're going to go back around.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the primary ways that I plan on kind of gathering that feedback as best I can is by being involved, for one, heavily involved in the Discord, heavily involved on Twitter, heavily involved on just socials, and through my channel. I plan to do live streams and whatnot, whether it be through the public beta or like whatever it is leading up to the actual official release of Illuvium and thereon after. I plan to just have like an open stream, open discussion kind of thing. Is one of my plans, is to just to go live with public beta 2, for example, for Overworld when that comes up, kind of thing. And if people have questions, I'm going to try and stream for a long enough period of time, multiple days a week, kind of thing, so that people can just come to the channel, come to the live stream and ask questions, and I can answer them as needed or as I can, or also gauge and ask questions on live stream, as well as I want to utilize Twitter and do Twitter polls. As far as an example, one example that I had most recently was I ran a poll on whether or not I should even run for community sub council as well. And it wasn't indicative of like the entire community. I definitely know that, but I tried to throw it where would hopefully people would find it, kind of thing. So I threw it in the Discord as well. And it was pretty overwhelming majority that I should run. So here I am.
All right. Jimbo, what about you, man? How would you go about gathering that information? And is there a time where you've shown you've done that successfully in decision making? Oh, wow, Jimbo, you were muted. I expect that from others, not from you.
I was trying to keep you on your toes. Anyways, so it's kind of a weird question, because it's like saying, how are you going to fix your sink and also change the oil on your car? Every single situation for every single proposal is going to be different. As far as like gathering the information, I mean, it depends on where the voices are. You need to figure that out first, right? So right now, as we've been saying, and it might be a slight problem. Like the Discord is the main way, and we can find more ways to get community sentiment from maybe like YouTube, Reddit, really just social media platforms in general. Even if you have to private message people, DM them, all DMs are scams though. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it literally just depends on the situation and what's going on.
Okay. Ricky, your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, thanks. Honestly, I hate to say it again, but I do agree with everyone. There's countless sources of information out there where we can get it. Social media, Discord. The important thing, I say it in my work all the time, it's funneling that information, taking a wide amount, bringing it down short and concise. It has to be palatable. You have to be able to easily understand it and talk about it. Everybody's going to have their different opinions. So weighing out the pros and cons, definitely something that we're going to discuss in council together. And with everyone we have here, I think no matter who gets elected, we're going to have nice debates. We all do agree on some things, but we do have our own backgrounds and we are going to disagree. Even if it's not here visible to everyone, we will. An example of how I incorporated feedback, Wildfire Guild, I helped organize one of the overworld tournaments where we went on a capture spree. A lot of people came and joined. It was engagement. We put out a poll afterwards in Google Forms, got some feedback, what people would like to see, what didn't work, what did work. Unfortunately, Artemis gave the idea of getting and capturing every single Illuvial. So each person took about 2 hours. So it was very long for all of us. And yeah, so we used that towards our next tournament, which was the meme contest and then the music. So we took that feedback and found better ways to do it.
Awesome. All right. Artemis, your thoughts here, gathering information from the community and how has that served you to make a better decision?
I think one thing that we need to work on is not everyone is comfortable talking in the Discord. Either they don't feel heard or they don't want to get all heated about it. You know, maybe they don't like having someone tell them they're wrong. They just want to share their opinion. They want to be heard. Surveys in Discord, surveys on Twitter. We've been seeing a lot of that around this election. You know, should you run? Should I run? Who do you think is going to be best? That is a nice anonymous way to give your feedback. So if we can do that through emails, through Twitter, you can even do short things like that on YouTube, though it's a little less anonymous. I think that might be a great route to go to make sure that people who aren't comfortable speaking publicly can still give their opinion.
All right. Awesome. Garth, your thoughts here, man. How do you gather information and how's that served you in the past?
Well, I've been active. And I feel like I am one of the most, most well-informed people in the community. I did that by just scouring the Discord, looking at videos, everything, and just distilling that into the guides that I've written. I have to say those guides were pretty long, with 7 to 8 pages each, but they were very complete. And I think I successfully integrated the ideas and everything that the Illuvium team shared with us, and I can easily do that as well for the community feedback that will come in the Discord or Twitter. I'm not sure if I can Twitch stream like Modern Llama would and answer the questions. But I think each of the council members within a sub council will have their own role, and I think giving concrete information and as complete as possible is what I excel at.
Awesome. Scoot, what are your thoughts here, man? How would you go about gathering that information, and when has that served you to make a better decision in the past?
Yeah, so I think the first step here is just to make sure the council is engaged in kind of driving a good depth in the discussion and making sure that the community isn't kind of arguing over the minutia and is really focusing on contributing a variety of different ideas and really addressing the root of the topic being discussed, because I think that's something that it's easy in Discord to get caught up in just kind of an argumentative nature rather than addressing the real point. I think Artemis had a really good point about addressing, allowing people to share without having to kind of participate in the text-based discussion that Discord we've been doing through the governance forums. And I did that in my recent alpha stamp on the Illuvitar's draft, which is one of the most engaged with out of the last 4 proposals we've had. It is the most upvoted and the most commented proposal that's been going on. So what I did there was I broke down kind of a lot of the key points and allowed people to just by emote vote on different aspects of the draft to kind of gauge like which particular points of the IIP people agreed and disagreed with, to really break it down rather than just giving people the yes no option. So I think just really giving people more ways to engage simply to share their opinions is really going to increase the engagement overall.
Awesome. Tallulah, what are your thoughts here? I'm going to say Mike before you.
I did it that time.
Amazing.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this.
I was going to say in regards to gathering the information from community and how that served you in the past.
Yeah. So generally, to gather information from community, I stay within the community. I look at everybody's ideas, thoughts, participating banter. I join into voice channels and stream and play with people. That I feel we just have like really low pressure conversations. They're just conversations, get to know people, and people just talk about what they want to talk about. Through that, I've been personally approached, and people have given information to me. I've been able to collate that and take it back anonymously to the people involved to be able to share their thoughts and ideas about what's going on. So yeah, definitely agree about the anonymous side of it. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, I guess, and something I've done in the past in a different Discord is there was a lot of like unhealthy discourse going on, discussing something. It was unpleasant being there, and so I just spoke up and was like, come on, let's pull this back, like Scoot was saying, back to the point. And everyone sort of, well, I wouldn't say everyone, but it kind of got people out of the pattern. People were able to engage respectfully with each other, and then the momentum kept going with the actual problem, the solution-based problem.
Yep, awesome. Yo, Butch, I'm gonna bring Butch. You haven't answered this question, right?
No,
yeah. What are your thoughts here, man, about how would you go about gathering that information from the community, and also how have you used that to make a better informed decision in the past?
So I think one of the things I would do is bring back emojis to the ideas channel, or try to do that. I think like what people are saying, like it's an easy way to gauge sentiment, and I feel like there's no reason not to, especially with 5 people on the community council. They should be able to gauge sentiment without, it doesn't really matter. We could do addition to figure out what the sentiment is on different things. I think another thing that Artemis said, I think is a great idea, like with surveys. I think that's a way that we could go further out and also have anonymous contributions to and get the sentiment from the community that way. I think another thing that I really want to see is the ideas post going really like more general, something that Scoot was talking about, and just really stating the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. Because a lot of times it's just an idea that maybe is a little, I don't know, very specific, and maybe that very specific thing is causing heat in the community. But really the goal of it could be discussed and be discussed in a healthy way. I think if we could get that, more people engaging on how do we accomplish that goal, and that goal to drive, the DAO forward.
Awesome. And Risk, what are your thoughts here, man? What's your approach to gathering information from the community, and have you made a better decision from doing that in the past?
I will set up a survey to gather community trend and better understand their opinions. I would write reports based on the general opinion, which would transmit through different channels before bringing them to the council. For example, during discussion on Discord or show organized avec different guilds, I was able to take into account member opinions and use them to guide our discussion.
Okay, awesome. All right, appreciate you there, man. All right, awesome. So, guys, I've said this in a little private chat that we've had. This is by far the most agreeable panel discussion that I've done so far. I believe the next question should be a fun one. I'm going to add a bit of a spin into it. It's how do you guys plan on handling situations when there are conflicting opinions or discussions become contentious within the community? This is something that I'm really keen to hear from you guys in regards to. Some of the candidates in the community council believe they need to be a voice for the community, which means that they need to relay exactly the thoughts of the community. Others might have the feeling that sometimes the community is wrong and they need to take it on board, but go against what the community is directly asking for. How would you handle a situation like that, and where do you stand on that? I'm gonna bring in Garth. No pressure, Garth. I apologize, but yeah, what are your thoughts here, man?
I tend to focus on providing information within debates or discussions, and when there are conflicting opinions, usually that can be resolved with having information that is actually accurate and where people can wrap their heads around on how their idea would impact this already formulated like structure. But when there are conflicting opinions and things actually get very wrong, I feel like the mods would be the best person to shut that down. Naturally, if they don't and they feel like the discussion is harsh but fair, I think that providing that information would be the way that I would go about it. If people continue to have illogical reasoning, then that is up to them. I will not just vote based on just ridiculous demands. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's sound, then I will bring it up to the other council members. But if it's not logical, then I'll just vote against it, and I won't bring it up in a concise way like that.
Awesome. Llama, what are your thoughts here, man? Contentious discussions, how do you handle that? And do you believe in being a voice of the people or a voice for the people?
I think a combination of both in a way. I think one of the most important things that I want to see, at least even if it isn't from me, but something that I feel that I bring to the table very well, is being able to address and understand and see where everyone is coming from and understanding everyone's perspectives. With contentious points like within the community, that like even if I were to disagree with someone in the community, or if others are disagreeing within the community, like whatever the situation is, ultimately, I wouldn't want to be like the resounding or the judge of like, like, is this, the decision that we need to be making as a community because I say so kind of thing. I don't think that's my role. I think that my role is trying to understand where everyone's coming from and their different perspectives, and understand and figure out what's the core of the argument or the discussion that's being had, and how can we either meet in the middle or decide and have that hard conversation that needs to be had, and just say like, look, this is not the direction that we as a community as a whole want to go, and that, or the other side of the coin would be, it's not the direction that we should go. And that could also be a discussion that gets had when we pass these ideas or perspectives or opinions to other council members like on the game council or on marketing or like whatever it may be kind of thing, or the strategy council. If they decide that the idea or proposal isn't the best direction that we should be going for other reasons kind of thing, then we as a community sub council need to then be able to relay that information and relay that sentiment and have that hard discussion with the community and say, look, this is, it's not really the direction that we need to go, and here's why, based on facts, based on reasoning, and keep it as objective as we possibly can.
All right, awesome. Tallulah, what are your thoughts here? How do you handle contentious discussions, and again, would you be a voice for the people or of the people?
For the people and of the people. I think that's a tricky one because we can be biased. We all have our own natural biases, and you've got to be on top of that really well if you're going to be for the people. Or if you're going to speak as a voice of the people, you need to be really on top of your own personal bias. I would put everyone in timeout. Just kidding. How do we approach I think we don't really disagree very much in here because we're all coming from similar backgrounds and we're all being taught the same kind of skills, right? Like that to approach those contentious issues is you need to discover, break it down, make sure people are heard. You're looking at the problem and not the person, all that kind of stuff. Illuvium has to look after Illuvium at the end of the day. We community members in Illuvium have so much say as opposed to other gaming projects out there that it's pretty big, and I feel sometimes too much. People might disagree with me with that, but I actually do feel that sometimes that has been too much say. That being said, it's a unique situation, and it's really important what we do. So yeah, contentious issues, I would be the same. Like Garth said, if people just keep going and keep going and keep going, as long as you do the best you can to approach the situation as professionally as possible, if people want to continue not engaging in that conversation, that's their thing.
All right, awesome. Scoot, what are your thoughts here, man? How do you deal with contentious discussions? And again, a voice of the people or a voice for the people?
So this is probably definitely one area where I'd like to do some self-improvement, because I tend to be one of the people with the contentious opinions in the discussions that we've had in the past. I think really the most important thing is to like take a look at and honestly respect the views of all sides and try to see where everybody's coming from, and not focus on necessarily getting everybody on the same page, but making sure that everyone can put their best argument forward so that all different sides can have their most kind of coherent and collated perspective put forward for consideration, rather than trying to get everyone to agree necessarily on a singular topic. And I think at the end of the day, my vote is going to be based on what I think is best for the DAO. I'll try to take the community's perspectives into consideration as much as possible, but there's never going to be a day where, just because 17 people on Discord all message me and say that they think something should be a certain way, that I'm going to kind of go against my own instincts and vote against what I think is going to be the best for the health of Illuvium in the long term.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm going to bring Butch in. What are your thoughts here, man, regarding how do you deal with those contentious discussions? And again, voice of the people against voice for the people.
I'm actually completely against what Scoot just said. I think the role of the community council is not to have a voice, really. It's to see the good ideas that are coming through and they got support from the community, and then just push them through. I think we, as the sub council, need to make the ideas really well formed and allow that to go through the process, but not really block those ideas if they have support from the community. I think the contentious part, a lot of that comes from last minute changes, or like Scoot said before, which I actually really do agree with him, is that the team will put things on the community, like the Forge, like Alpha, without any discussion. It's just, this is what we're going to do, let's move forward. And I think if we could get those ideas earlier and have more discussion earlier, I think a lot of the contention would just fade away, really.
Yeah. All right. Understood. Jimbo, I'm going to get you up here, man. What are your thoughts regarding this? How would you deal with these contentious discussions that you see about? And again, would you be a voice for the people or a voice of the people?
Okay, so first off, for the first question, how would I deal with contentious discussion? Do you mean, so let me see. So, I mean, if it's getting too heated, I mean, I feel like I have the skill set and people skills to calm people down if I have to. I mean, there's certain people that I've kept before from saying stuff that they shouldn't have, and it goes into like DMs, and it's like, dude, it's honestly a lot. But I feel like if you want to be a peacemaker and like have civil discussions, sometimes that's what you just have to do. What was the second
voice
question?
for the people, where you speak for them, or a voice of the people where you relay what their thoughts are?
Okay. I love the community, but I completely disagree with Botch. I think as far as bringing up the idea, I think that should never even be a question. You always, as a community council member, you always have to bring up the idea. And I think what's more important than actually just pushing their ideas through is if we collectively as a group are like, we don't think this proposal is a great idea. Let's see why, like as Llama said earlier, what is the root cause of why they want this proposal? And what can we do to find maybe a middle ground or even maybe a solution that's even better than what we first came up with, and involve the community in that discussion.
Yep. All right. Ricky, I'm going to bring you up, man. Ricky, what are your thoughts here? Contentious discussions, voice for, against, of.
For sure. Well, I have personally de-escalated several situations. I'm not going to bring up the community members' names just out of respect, but I've been in the middle of situations, and everybody is entitled to their opinion. It doesn't mean one side's right, one side's wrong. That's not the right way to see it. It's more, you're very set on this. Like Scoot, for instance, may have one stance. I've seen some of your messages. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. You're just really set that this is the right way. Other people may have opinions, and you're open to them, but you're still going to defend your point, and that's what we need. We need people who are willing to be argumentative at times, because we don't want yes, yes, yes. We want those no's. We need it. It's healthy. It's just, again, always need to be respectful. The disrespect is one thing that's not going to really fly with me. When it gets way too heated, the mods will jump in. They're great at it. Just everyone needs to have their voice heard, and really being level-headed, coming in the middle. I'm always going to take the community's consideration, bring it to council, make sure that the sentiment's heard, the root of the ideas that are coming up, pros and cons. And in council, we're going to discuss what we really feel, and we will relay that. And that's kind of our role. It's for the people, I guess.
Yeah. Artemis, what are your thoughts here? Contentious discussions, and then for or of the people?
I think Community Sub Council is really a different entity, or you should look at it differently from the other sub councils. We are the connection from the community to the other sub councils. It is our job to listen, to record, and to convey mostly. People are going to get mad often because they feel attacked or they feel like they're not being heard. I feel like for a lot of us on the council, a good way will be to engage them without our own agenda. They want you to listen to them, clarify what they're saying, ask questions, in some cases validate that, hey, yeah, what you're feeling is completely understandable. I had someone comment on a YouTube video like 2 days ago. I had no context for what they were talking about, but the main points were like, I don't like NDAs, and they say the leaderboard's fixed, but it's only like 99% fixed. And it didn't require my response, but I still responded to them and say, hey, yeah, I'm frustrated with leaderboard too. I don't like NDAs, but they're necessary because of this. And I don't know if I made his day any better or if maybe I pissed him off more. But again, listening and validating in terms of for or of the people, I'm definitely a bit more for the people. It's not black and white, right? It's there's going to be yeses, there's going to be nos, there's going to be lefts, there's going to be rights. And depending on who on the sub council is the one in the main council voting, those are the people who will have to make those decisions between, balancing their gut opinion, their personal opinion, and what the community is telling them.
Yeah. All right. And I am aware of that comment that you're talking about, as I also responded. Risk, what are your thoughts here, man? How do you deal with contentious discussions? And do you believe in being a voice for the people or a voice of the people?
Being calm and enthusiast by nature, I generally manage to diffuse tension while my sense of humor and by rescuing unhappy member while education. Uh, I am often active on the French-speaking Discord server, where I can diffuse conflictual situation. This is also due to our Night community.
Yep. All right. So we've already discussed on how we're going to do a couple of these things. Now, I want to jump into, in your opinion, what are the key qualities of an effective community leader, and how would you guys leverage those skills to foster a positive and engaged community? This is going to be the last question before we wrap this up, and then I've got one final question after this. But yeah, what are the top qualities that you guys believe makes you a key leader, and how you're going to leverage those skills for the benefit of the DAO? Jimbo, I'm going to bring you up, my man.
It's interesting because as community, it's a very specific, or it's a very not specific genre of council. I think just accessibility, being able to listen, and not. Let me think here. Sorry, I'm on like 0 hours of sleep. Being able to listen, accessibility, like I work from home, so I'm literally on my computer 24/7 because I don't touch grass. So just being able to be able to listen to the community, because honestly, I mean, that's really our job. That's our role, is to listen to the community, gather sentiment, help them propose ideas.
Cool.
In general.
Tallulah, what are your thoughts here? What are the top qualities of a good leader, and how would you leverage those qualities for the benefit of the DAO?
Yeah, I agree with what Gibrina said there in regards to it's a pretty multifaceted area. Good leader, some good leadership skills is willingness to take risks, willingness to do things a little bit differently, willingness to be open, empathetic, compassionate, not always being agreeable to the people in the greater standing or power, not necessarily causing arguments or dysfunction, yet being confident enough to share the opinions and the voices of the community.
Awesome. All right. Ricky, your thoughts here? Top qualities for a leader, and how would you leverage those skills for the benefit of the DAO? You are muted, Ricky.
Sorry about that. I knew it would get me. I think my headset wasn't muting, so I just wanted to make sure that I was muted. So I think I was the one typing and clicking before. Sorry about that. Pretty much, yeah. So, I mean, honesty, respect, dependability, pretty much just foster positive engagement, bring in innovative, creative side of my leadership skills, just always trying to push a different side, always kind of encourage my co-council members if I'm elected. Pretty much, I find that I'm reliable. I'm always going to act with integrity. I really think we need to respect everyone, and I've kind of mentioned it before, but trust is everything to me, and especially in Web3, that's very important. We really we can't risk losing the trust of the community. And yeah, I'm a bit tired too on my end, but honestly, I'm gonna say it. It popped in my head, but really, teamwork makes the dream work. We're all gonna be working together, 5 of us, and we will be strong together. But I'm sure like I said, we're still gonna have some heated discussions.
Yeah.
So, but it's all out of a place of love for Illuvium.
Apes together strong. I think that's the saying, right? Yeah, Llama, your thoughts here, man. What are the top qualities of a leader, and how you're going to leverage those skills for the benefit of the DAO?
I'm going to say patience, thick skin, and empathy. I think that those are some of the strongest qualities that you can have as a community leader, listening to the community. I think the ways that you can, as a leader, and that I as a leader plan to kind of leverage that and whatnot. it's going to be just in being open and being like approachable, but with the community members. Don't and also be willing to set aside even your own personal opinions up front. At times, I think that is very important, to be able to hear and listen to other people's perspectives, and being open to that. But then also having a bit of thick skin for the tougher arguments or the tougher conversations that still need to be had, and then patience, and willingness to listen to people and to different sides of different arguments. I think are going to be incredibly important. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Artemis, I'm going to bring you in. Your thoughts here. What are the top qualities of a leader, and how do you plan to leverage those skills for the benefit of the DAO?
Yeah, I mean, collaborative nature, flexible mindset, and compassion. Communication for sure, but when I'm talking about communication, it's not just you like adequately speaking to people, it's you listening. You need to set aside your own opinions. You need to listen to what you agree with and what you don't. And when we talk about fostering a positive and engaged community, we're not just talking about everyone who's happy with everything that's going on in the community. Now, we want people to share what they're upset with in a positive way, but we still want to hear what you're dissatisfied with so that we can help fix it if it needs to be fixed.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Garth, your thoughts here, man. What are the top qualities of a leader, and how do you plan to leverage that for the benefit of the DAO?
I think respectfulness, honesty, and keeping cool are key qualities. Being respectful to the people that you're talking to, in the sense of giving them space to talk about how they feel, what they think, because that's basically what we do. We will write down what they think and then bring it into a proposal that the other councils can vote on. So basically, you give them the time of day to really express what their ideas without cutting them off. Being honest in how you use that information and share your own views, but staying out of the subjective name calling and all that stuff. It's just gross. Just stay objective, stay neat, and just follow through.
Yep, stay on task. Butch, what are your thoughts here, man? Top qualities of a leader. How would you leverage that for the benefit of the DAO?
Yeah, I think a good leader is someone that can lead by example. Also being transparent about their decisions and treating everyone with respect. And I would be respectful to everyone in the community and their ideas, so those ideas keep flowing. I'd be transparent with my own ideas and vote so people can trust where I'm coming from. And I would lead by example by continuing to post my own ideas and keep putting up IIPs and IICCPs, just so it could show how it works and so others can champion their ideas, so others can follow by their example, my example.
Yep, awesome. And Scoot, your thoughts here, man. Top qualities of a leader, and how would you leverage those skills for the benefit of the DAO?
Yeah, so I think as a member of the community council, just the most important things are going to be engaged and to be a facilitator of the discussion. So engagement, obviously, you can't engage, be a good representative of the community without being engaged with the community. So being present in the discussions and being a participant there is obviously incredibly important. And then facilitating those discussions in such a way that we can help. A lot of people bring a lot of different ideas to the table, but they don't necessarily always express them in the most comprehensive, coherent, or sometimes the most appropriate ways. But I think there's a lot of good ideas that are brought up that are not necessarily always brought to the forefront because they're just not quite expressed properly. So I think helping to facilitate people to bring their ideas forward, whether that means, helping with writing ICCPs or just helping to ask critical questions to kind of get to the root of what people are after, is very important to make sure that everyone's voice is heard equally and in an equally, kind of respectful way.
Okay, awesome. And Risk Death, your opinions here. What makes a what are the qualities that make a good leader, and how would you leverage that for the benefit of the DAO?
In my opinion, the key quality of an effective community leader are humor, active listening, and the ability to self-reflect. To foster a positive and engaged community, I would highlight my experience and ability to keep the group motivated. I would understand and address the fear and expectation of members while giving them relevant insight into the opportunity offered by the project. I would also encourage them to actively participate in Illuvium success.
Awesome. No, I appreciate those answers. Alrighty, guys. We are at the final question and the most difficult question of the night, of the day, wherever you guys are. So, guys, let's say that you guys don't get in. Let's say that you don't get in, but you have the power to guarantee one other candidate a spot on the council. I want you guys to share with us who that would be and why you have picked this person. I'm going to start with you, Botch. If you can't get in, who would you like a guaranteed seat, and why is that the case?
Okay. I'm guessing that many people are going to say Blichter, so I'm going to skip over the obvious. I think another person, I really do like everybody that's on here, and I hope if they don't get elected, they continue doing the great things that they're doing with the community. But one other person that I'm rooting for is Artemis. I really think that she is a super smart, engaged community member. I don't know her that well, but she seems to have a great demeanor and seems like she would be a great team leader or a teammate in the community of the sub council.
Awesome. Yo, no pressure, Artemis. I'm going to throw you up now. Who would you pick if you didn't get in?
That's really funny. I also would say Blichter, but again, very obvious choice because of his experience. Botch, actually. We didn't prepare this, by the way. And he's right. We don't really know each other that much, but I want to see someone who's engaged with governance outside of election season. It's not in your words, but in your actions where true intentions really lie. And he has been committed to this community and its governance. I see him in the Gov conversations in the last 6 months. I personally don't always type my answers, but I'm always reading, and he's engaging with the community, giving feedback, listening to feedback. And I'm convinced that he's here to make Illuvium better. I want to see him on the community sub council.
All right. Awesome. I can't bring Botch back up here. So Garth, Garth, if you want elected in, man, who's the one person you'd want a guaranteed spot for?
Artemis has already been said, Botch as well. I feel like yeah, so I'll just go with Scoot because his frank state of mind, he's always able to stay out of the heat and just bring objective but new perspectives to the table. I feel like that's a good quality to have on the community council as well.
Okay, awesome. Guys, I do want to say you can give repeatable. Like, it's not a thing. You don't need to worry about that.
I know.
I'll bring Scoot in. Your thoughts here, man. If you don't get in, who would you like to see on?
So I was also going to say Blichter. I mean, Blichter's been just absolutely phenomenal as a council member. But of the people that are here, I was actually going to say Garf. I know Garf has done, and I was planned this before he said me. The work he's done with Illuvial, and then now you're on Illuva Hub, I think, just absolutely phenomenal. A member of the community. We've been here the exact same amount of time. So I just think Garf has an incredible perspective and an incredible helping spirit, and he's really demonstrated that he wants to be a contributor to this community, and I think that's an incredibly important value to have for the community council.
Awesome. All right, Jimbo, your thoughts here, man. If you aren't in, who would you want to see on? You're muted. Yo, I swear I thought he was meditating over the answer or something.
No. Well, I was actually just sitting here thinking. I didn't say anything of worth. Man, every time somebody went, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. I was so Blichter's gonna get in for sure. So I'm not even gonna waste my wish on him. Dang it, you guys, we got a good lineup. Botch has already been active in community discussion with IIPs and ICCPs. Artemis has been making governance content for the longest time, and it's really good. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel. Scoot, I absolutely love the fact that like he's like he just doesn't care. He cares, but like he doesn't care about shaking things up if he has to. I love chaos, especially in like a setting like this. Getting opposing views is always good. Garf has done so much for the community already. I mean, he's a man of the people. Llama is a great friend, incredibly loyal. If there's one word that describes Llama, I think it's loyalty. Tallulah, I don't know you that much, but you seem like from the interactions we've had, you're just a bubbly, awesome person, and you always add to any discussion like intelligently. I feel like Ricky, I'll skip you. No, Ricky's awesome. Ricky's actually such a sweetheart. Like one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. And Risk Death, I don't know you that well, but from what I've heard from some of the people that work with you, you do just an incredible job in the places that you're at. So I appreciate all of the council. I can't pick one. I'm sorry. I
was going to say, yeah, you have to choose one. You're on the spot. A council member is forced to make a decision.
I have to choose one,
or I'm taking your name off the list.
Okay, I'll pick Artemis.
Right, awesome. All right, let's go, Llama. Bring you in. Let's not go over everyone, Llama. Let's just pick the one person, yeah? Let's be efficient with our time here.
I'll keep this one short and sweet. Blichter. I'm gonna show Blichter some love. Everyone else has been kind of brushing over and everything, but I mean, I would love 100%. Blichter's gonna be my choice.
Awesome. All right, appreciate that. Jimbo, that's how you do it, man. Tallulah, if you don't get in, you could choose one person. Who would that be and why?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, can I just say everyone is amazing, and even though I don't get on, I think it's in good hands. I would pick Garf. The reason for that is I joined Illuvium 2022 in January, and Garf was one of the people, along with some others, who were instrumental in helping me into the Web3 and crypto space and understanding so much information when I was like so nervous and so lost. So I feel he still does that to this day. It hasn't wavered. So that's why I would pick Garf.
Awesome. All right, Ricky, your thoughts here, man. If you don't get in, one choice. Why?
One choice. All right. There's too many good candidates, so my choice is going to be very difficult. Honestly, unfortunately, I will have to choose just one of you. It's going to have to be the Queen of Governance, Artemis. I did have that prepared. So her transparency, her great content in general, she is just fabulous when it comes to governance. She is the queen of the ILV Gov. But I do want to just throw a quick shout out to Risteth. I had not spoken with him in the past. Honestly, I have a ton of respect for him. He's running. We do need to be there for our non-English speaking community members. We need someone that could speak and connect and represent the French speaking community.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate that. Ristek, your thoughts here, man. If you don't get in and you could choose one person, who would it be and why?
Choosing just one candidate among those applying for the Illuvium Sub Council is difficult. If I had to pick one, I would hesitate between Artemis and Wiki. Artemis for her educational approach in her video, and Wiki for his availability. Yes, sorry, and help white English. Is I to choose just one candidate, I would choose Wiki. To our choice interesting and the discussion we have had. He is very attentive and do not hesitate to help those in need.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I appreciate all of those answers. All righty, guys, thank you. That wraps up the discussion today. Firstly, I want to say thank all of you guys for taking the time to be here. I know some of you guys are running off no sleep. Some of you guys woke up a bit early, so I appreciate all of you guys. For those of you guys watching, I hope this was valuable to you guys. I hope it was insightful and it's going to be helpful in you guys making your choice for who you want on the community council. But anyway, I appreciate every one of you guys, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.